Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am joined on this lovely Tuesday, I gotta get my days right here, lovely Tuesday by the lovely Miss Lisa Locke McGahee. Lisa, say hi to lovely people out there.
Hello, everybody.
Alright, guys. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is how it goes. I'm going to run down some stories, start off with a little Marvel and DC news, move into some Star Wars, and then go into some miscellaneous or Harry Potter news, if there is any. You guys chime back on social media, whether it be the Facebook group, Twitter, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Let us know what you think as well, and we'll have a nice little chat about this all. So, with that out of the way, Lisa, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we're good, guys. We're moving us in a new room. Okay, we're in the office. It's a little more open space, so I'm hoping the sound quality works out. But I like it because we got the two desks, a little more space here. Not that I don't mind being close to you, of course. Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, I feel like it gives it a little more officialness to it to be in a room such as this.
Officialness.
Exactly. We got a mirror or a window out here to see the world if we want.
We had a window in our old room.
I know, but we were facing the corner. This is a little different.
Whatever.
Anyway,
Let's move on.
I'm just hoping the sound works out and we'll go from there, guys. So, alright, a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of good stuff to cover. But first, we're going to start with something that dropped this morning. Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios has dropped a new trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this weekend, they dropped a couple posters online, which I posted on the Facebook group and on the Twitter account, so you can check those out there. I almost thought they were looking to upset the Justice League trailer for a second there, because Warner Brothers was teasing the Justice League trailer coming out Saturday, and they were doing character posters for that. And then, like, Friday, Marvel and Sony started coming out with Spider-Man posters. And usually when they do that, it means, you know, trailers come within a few days. And I'm like, are they going to try to upset the Justice League trailer? But they waited a couple days before they did that. You know, there was a little talk about Justice League, and then they dropped this one this morning. So, in this one, we see Tom Holland play Peter Parker / Spider-Man again, continuing his character from what we saw in Captain America Civil War. So in this one, Peter's kind of a little antsy after the events of Captain America Civil War. He's looking to be more than just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and kind of prove himself to be possibly an Avenger, prove himself to Tony Stark, who's played by Robert Downey Jr. And then a new villain comes to town, the Vulture, played by none other than the man, Michael Keaton himself. So Peter's got to try to prove himself against this new villain, but also, you know, go through the trials and tribulations a lot of new heroes have as well. Peter, of course, is, you know, world's being threatened, his family's being threatened, etc., etc., all that stuff. It's going to come into theaters July 7th, directed by John Watts. Also stars Zendaya, Jon Favreau, Donald Glover, and Ty Daly. So, Lisa, you just saw the trailer. We watched it a couple times. What'd you think about it?
I think this is the first Spider-Man movie in a long time I've wanted to see. So that's good. I mean, like, the trailer made it look good to me. And normally I don't feel like that about Spider-Man trailers. They don't generally
Did you like the last trailer?
Yeah. No, I just mean like this movie. The trailers for this film have made me want to see this movie. As opposed to previous Spider-Man films. But I like the trailer. I like how it showed a little bit more kind of about what he's going through. You know, I think that's it's kind of, you know, showing not just his struggles with being Spider-Man, but just struggles of teenagers in general.
Yeah, like, you
know, trying to be themselves, but wanting to be bigger than themselves. You know, trying to prove that they are more than, you know, and especially for him, I can see where for Spider-Man being, you know, he just did that big adventure, you know, with the Avengers. You know, kind of feeling, I don't want to say better than he is, but, you know, kind of feeling a little bit of like...
You get a taste of being special.
Of being powerful,
yes.
You know, of being able to make a difference, and he wants to continue to do that, but it's going to be kind of a learning adventure for him to realize he's still just one kid, you know, but he can still make a difference. But anyway, I think it looks interesting. I think the dynamic with him and his friend look like it's going to be really fun.
Ned, yes.
I mean, I like the little bits that Robert Downey Jr. threw it in, like the line in there where he was like, you know, if you feel like, if you need the costume to make you something, then that's, you know, basically...
It was like, he said, I'm nothing without the suit, and there's like, if you're nothing with the suit, without the suit, you don't deserve it.
Right, you don't deserve it. Exactly. Just showing, you know, it's not about what kind of the same kind of thing. It's what's inside that counts, not what's outside. And I think it looks really good. I liked it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think, again, I love the tone that it sets, where you do have Peter Parker, where he is, kind of that typical teenager, but a little more nerdy, or at least he's supposed to be a little more nerdy. And, he gets a glimpse of something special about himself. And, like most people who are in that position, they, try to embrace it and try to lift themselves up to make themselves feel special. But then, of course, there's all the responsibility that comes with it. Of course, the classic Spider-Man line, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think that's something he's going to learn throughout this film, which would be fine. But my only complaint about it is because of, I love the story they're going to tell. But again, based on this trailer, I already know the story they're going to tell. Like Peter, he gets his suit from Stark. He loves it. He loves being Spider-Man. He's distracted from his real life. And then he runs into a real villain like Vulture. And that whole boat scene, you can tell that's where he messes up. Stark takes away his suit. And then he has to go back to his old suit and face Vulture to prove himself. And
I'm sure there's more to it.
There's more to it, but the basic outline, I saw the whole character arc right there in the trailer. So that I was a little disappointed in. But I liked what I saw, so in that respect, I am excited for it too. So go over just a couple shots that I thought were really cool. The first one we saw was like he pulled out his suit and it suctioned to him, kind of like the Back to the Future power laces. I thought that was cool. And you can tell just the little stuff, Tony Stark gave him this new updated suit. So it's got all the gadgets with it. It's got the suction. It's got the spider tracers to it. And all those little cool, little neat little tricks that, again, makes him feel special. And then when Tony takes it away, he's like, oh, I can't do that without the, the cool suit. But yeah, that was cool. And then you have in this trailer as well the relationship with his friend Ned to go along with it, where he it's something he could share with. In other Spider-Man movies, just looking at the movies in general, he hasn't had someone where he shares a secret. It's such a big burden. I mean, eventually Mary Jane and what's Emma Stone's character's name? Gwen in the older Spider-Man movies, they find out, but not at the beginning. It's mainly just him. In this one, it looks like his friend's going to find out fairly early, and he tags along on the adventure as far as the thrill of him being Spider-Man in this one. So that was good. Michael Keaton as the villain looks very good. Looks very good. We don't get to
show him that much for you to be all like, he looks so good.
Okay, first I'm saying it's Michael Keaton. Okay, yes. And you don't get to see him much as a villain. I love it when good actors play, bad guys or different villains. Like, say for instance, John Travolta. When he was in the movie Broken Arrow, that was like the first time people saw him playing a villain role. And I thought he was so good in it, just because of the fact that we're so used to seeing him play a good guy. See him in this bad guy role was really good. And I think same thing is going to be with Michael Keaton. He's a good actor, playing this kind of diabolical role, and maybe even possibly a good villain, which is something we don't get to see that often in the MCU. Another thing that made me laugh was the video they were watching in, it looks like gym class. They were watching the Captain America Fitness Challenge video.
Yeah, and he says something about, I took his shield.
I took his shield, yeah, exactly. Ned's like, do you know him too? And he's like, I took his shield. It was pretty nice on that one. Let's see here, just anything else? Yeah, just a couple more shots of, the fighting, and you saw him kind of at the end there, where Tony took away his new suit. So it looks like in the end he was fighting Vulture with an old suit. So again, it just felt like they gave too much away of the story, in my opinion. But overall, I did like what I saw. I like the tone they're going for. I think it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. So, anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. So moving on to the first official story that we had. Sticking in the Spider-Man world, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Sony has planned some other Spider-Man characters for their own spin-off films. This one's going to feature Black Cat and Silver Sable. Now, last week, it was said that they were planning a Venom film. And it's also said a couple days ago that that Venom film is possibly going to be rated R, of course, because why not? Everything else is. But going back as far as the Silver Sable Black Cat movie, Silver Sable made her debut in Amazing Spider-Man 265 in 1985. She's hailing from the fictional European nation Simcaria. Sable is an expertly trained mercenary whose company, Silver Sable, there I got it, International, funds a team called the Wild Pack. Though the Wild Pack was founded by Sable's father, she herself becomes its leader. Meanwhile, Black Cat made her debut in Amazing Spider-Man 149 in 1979. The character of Felicia Hardy, is an expert burglar, very similar to kind of the Catwoman from Batman, where she kind of has a thing for Spider-Man and kind of toys with him a little bit, making him give a little morality struggle on how he feels about her as well. But anyway, so it looks like it's going to be a team-up movie, perhaps, and it's going to be written by Chris Yost. Now, Yost is known for writing Thor: The Dark World, and is actually writing the next Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok, that comes out in the fall. But he's most notably known for being the co-creator of the character of X-23, who we just saw in the Logan film. Now, THR reports that it is not clear whether the Venom or Silver Sable and Black Cat movie will be set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, although rumors are it's going to be its own thing because Sony wants to create its own cinematic universe using Spider-Man spin-off characters, but then that's kind of the question because Spider-Man is in the MCU, so if they make the Spider-Man supporting cast not in the MCU, how's that all going to work? But in any event, you got a nice little lady movie coming out with Black Cat, Silver Sable. I know you don't know these characters very well, so let me go touch on the other thing where I talked about how they announced that the Venom movie will possibly be rated R.
Blah, blah.
Of course.
Let's not talk about this again.
Let's talk about this again.
We have like ad nauseum discussed making movies rated R for sake of making them rated R. Like, do we really have to talk about that again?
I don't think we have to. I think we're going to touch on... we talked about last week about it depending on what version they go with, because the original version of Venom was Eddie Brock, where he was more of a villain, kind of more of a savage, beast-like character, in which case I could see them making that rated R. The other side, the side that I actually want to see, is the Flash Thompson one. And I can actually see that working better separate from Spider-Man, because it could just be Flash Thompson, Army veteran, who gets involved in a government project where they found this alien symbiote who he bonds with and, gives him superpowers and stuff like that. As opposed to the Eddie Brock one where you kind of need Spider-Man in that to explain how Venom works in that sense.
I feel like we had this exact same conversation on the show last week.
Kind of, but...
Literally talking about...
Hold on, I'm getting to my point here, which is the Flash Thompson one doesn't need to be rated R. I feel like the Eddie Brock one could be or might need to be rated R just because of the characters and how they're portrayed in that sense. As far as Black Cat, Silver Sable, I know Silver Sable. I can't say that. It's Silver Sable. Silver Sable. I know. I just saying that together, it just gets me. I'm not as familiar with her as I am Black Cat, mainly because Black Cat was featured more in the 90s Spider-Man animated series, which I watched because it was on right before X-Men and right after Batman. So, that was got that awesome block of TV right there. So that character I'm more familiar with. I like her. I think it'd be fun to see her in a film. Again, it's just a matter of them wanting to create Spider-Man characters outside the Spider-Man universe, and I don't know if that would really work. I just don't see how explaining these characters without adding Spider-Man to it. Are they going to have Spider-Man? Are they going to mention him? I don't get how it's going to work. Do you have an idea how they might do it?
I think it's too soon for them to start expanding the Spider-Man universe. We don't even know if this new Spider-Man is going to work yet.
I think we know it's going to work.
I think we know it's going to work.
Yeah. And Sony does have...
hold on.
Hold on, guys. Somebody's knocking out the door. One sec. We'll be right back. Alright, guys, we're back. We had someone come to look at our fence in the backyard, and the dog, of course, was barking. So I do apologize for that. She might bark every once in a while, but that's the risk you get when you do your podcast from your home in the middle of the day, and your dog is annoying as hell.
She is not.
She barks at
every
every
damn protecting our home.
Oh, whatever. She's not protecting.
She's
just
a good
yapping.
girl.
All right.
Stop it. Move on.
Okay, anyway, so going back to, so Sony, I get the feeling that Sony wants to create their own thing. They don't want to rely just on Marvel Studios to help them with the character, because there's planning, of course, that animated Spider-Man movie coming out at the end of next year as well. So I feel like this is, their attempt or their kind of ideas to, expand something on their own. They have the right, technically they do own the rights to Spider-Man and all his characters, so they don't want to rely just on Marvel Studios, I think, is what's going on.
I mean, I totally agree. I'm not disagreeing with that, with what they're trying to do. I just think that, we've talked before about how when like Marvel got started, they didn't get started before their first real movie had been out, already have a slate of movies they were gonna, like, it wasn't all, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that's been one of the downfalls we've had with DC, is that they're trying to get too big too fast. They're working, they're not giving it time to see what's gonna work,
where
what people want, where it grows organically. They're trying to force things. And I just feel like Sony is so anxious to get back in the game that they're doing the same thing DC did. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, yeah.
Especially jumping right in with a villain movie. Like, those haven't even been shown to work anywhere yet.
Yeah.
So it just seems silly to me. Like, I just don't. I think
they're
everyone's
throwing
trying
out what they got.
Yeah, I don't think it's a smart move.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll move on from there, guys. So, the Hollywood Reporter is talking about our favorite subject guessing game, which is who's gonna play Cable this week.
Oh, good God.
So, last week it was reported that Strange Things actor David Harbour was at the top of the list. Before that, we had Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights, and now Liam Neeson, of course, name has been thrown in the mix too. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, at the top of the studio's wish list is none other than Zod himself, Michael Shannon. Said that he's in talks, and they possibly might be looking into him for this. But in talking with the screenwriter Rhett Reese, and the relationship Cable and Deadpool will have, said, quote, Ryan plays Deadpool with a hint of femininity, and I think that can be funny opposite of Cable, who's uber masculine. That'll come into casting and performance and the character design and his wardrobe and things like that. I think we'll definitely play into it. Now, along with that, Cinema Blend has reported that the Deadpool third film, not the second film that's coming out, the third film, will be separate from the other planned X-Force film that 20th Century Fox is thinking about doing as well. Now, in Deadpool 2, we're set to be introduced to characters such as Domino, played by Zazie Beetz from the show Atlanta, and the yet-to-be-cast Cable character, who is the time-traveling son of Cyclops. Now, Deadpool 2 is set to be directed by John Wick's David Lynch, and Ryan Reynolds is returning to serve as producer alongside X-Men franchise caretakers Simon Kinberg and Lauren Schuler Donner. So, Lisa, Michael Shannon, Cable, go.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like all these names they keep throwing
I'm done
out,
with it. I'm done with this guessing game, you know?
I know. And every single person that they've mentioned is so different. Like, I feel like they're doing this on purpose just to keep everybody completely in the dark as to what they're going to do. Because it's not even like it's several actors that all are similar style and shape and build and abilities. And it's all different. Like, I just feel like they keep, I don't know. I until they just tell us who it is, I'm over it.
Yeah, I think it's just another guessing game. Is what it is. I mean, they said they're going to announce it soon, so hopefully
just shut up and announce it already.
Yeah, I would say shut up and announce it already. The second half of this story is kind of what I'm more interested in, just to what we just talked about as far as Sony trying to trying to look ahead a little too far. Same thing with Fox. They got Deadpool 3 planned. They got X-Force planned. And I'm just like, just focus on Deadpool 2. Okay, take it one film at a time. I know Deadpool was a huge success, and you're going to do a Deadpool 2 and probably do a Deadpool 3. But let's, not worry about that. Let's focus on Deadpool 2 and make it the best film you can, along with whatever X-Men film they're planning to do next.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, so that's going to be it for Marvel news, guys. So, moving on to some DC news. And of course, we got one piece of news. The one, the only, the Justice League trailer that dropped on Saturday morning. Now, Warner Brothers was teasing this almost all last week, each day putting out a new character poster to kind of get people amped up for the premiere of the first official trailer. Because the last trailer we saw was actually a Comic-Con trailer. This one had a couple of clips from that, but this is the first one that was officially a trailer, I guess you could say. So in it, it's got a lot of action. It's got a kind of a part roll call as Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Gal Gadot's Diana Prince are assembling a team of Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman to help them fight the upcoming threats. Now, the official premise says, quote, together, Batman and Wonder Woman work quickly to find and recruit a team of metahumans to stand against this newly awakened threat. But despite the formation of this unprecedented League of Heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and the Flash, it may already be too late to save the planet from an assault of catastrophic proportions. Now, a couple things we saw in this trailer as well. The parademons, which we saw in the dystopian dream sequence from Batman v Superman, as well as some mother boxes, two things that we briefly saw in Batman v Superman. But we also got glimpses of supporting characters, such as there was a shot of Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Amber Heard as Mara, and J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, as well as Billy Crudup as Barry Allen's father, Henry. So, again, a lot of stuff going on in this trailer with a lot of action. I liked the trailer. I really did, but all the other WB DC trailers have been good. I liked the Suicide Squad trailer. I liked the Batman v Superman trailer, and look how those turned out. So with this, my heart says, all right, and my head's like, let's just slow down and wait and see what happens. So, what do you think of it, Lisa?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I thought there was a lot of action. I almost thought it was a little too much. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't really give you a sense of anything at all, like, of what's going on. It was just like, action, 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 action.
Yeah.
Like, it was a little bit, almost kind of made me dizzy at times, although there's so much going on. So, I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. I feel like my biggest thing with the DC universe in general was, I feel like the Justice League movie should have Superman.
Okay.
And since they stupidly killed him off at the end of the last movie, like, I just don't think you can bring him back to life in this one. Like, I kind of feel like it needs its own film. And if they just, like, all of a sudden at the end of Justice League, it's like, whoa, look, there's Superman! Like, I don't know. I think that's kind of like a cop-out. I'm just unhappy with DC in general.
Okay. So, one thing I was going to mention was, with this trailer, we didn't see Superman or Steppenwolf, which is the villain, two characters we know we're getting in it. I think they screwed the pooch so much on the Superman thing, because before Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice even came out, they released promotional pictures of Justice League, which had Superman in it. And then everyone goes and sees Batman v Superman, and you saw Superman die, and we're like, well, he's coming back, so this death is meaningless.
Right, exactly, because that's the whole thing. You know he has to come back. Why would they kill off Superman in, like, the second movie, right?
Second movie
of the DC universe. That's stupid. We know he's coming back. But they killed him off. They, like, literally, Clark Kent is dead.
Yeah.
But Amy Adams is in this trailer, so you're assuming Superman's going to be in this film. Plus, like you said, the promotion videos. I just don't think they could possibly do him coming back to life justice in a film like this that has so many characters and so much going on. I just don't think it's fair to Superman. Okay. And I think it's going to be a disaster the way they put it all together.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, it could be one of those things, because they were planning to do a Justice League 2 shot together with the Justice League film, much like how Marvel is shooting both their Avengers 3 and Avengers 4
so
at
you think
the same
he might
time.
be in the next
I think he's going to be, like, he might show him briefly at the end of this one, and then shown more in the second one.
But either way, it's still a mistake. Superman should be in the Justice League.
But they announced a while ago that they're delaying Justice League 2 as well. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know. I hope he's not in a majority of the film, just to be honest, because the more Superman is in this film, the more it dampens that death in Batman v Superman.
It's too late. That death was horrible.
They never should have shown us. I mean, we all knew when he died he was going to come back. Okay, just we all knew that. But the fact that we saw it before we even saw him die in the movie, I think is what kind of ruins it. Because Henry Cavill's been on social media. You know, he shows pictures of himself on set doing stuff, and that's fine. I just felt like the marketing team blew it by showing us he's in the Justice League movie before we even see him die in
but we knew,
Superman.
I mean, at the end of Batman v Superman, you knew he was coming back to life. The freaking Earth jumped up on his grave
true,
or
but
whatever.
we knew he was coming back. We didn't know when and if, you know.
Yeah, but he should be in the Justice League
He should
movie.
be in it.
It's Superman.
He should be in it. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this at you. When the Justice League was formed in the comic books, Superman didn't come in for a while. So, I'm going to throw that at you. It's okay, though. We know he's coming, and I'm glad they're not showing him, honestly. Because we know he's going to be there. Everyone knows he's going to be there. Just showing him in this first trailer, that's fine. We're going to have at least 2 more trailers before the movie actually comes out on November 17th. So not showing him in this, that's fine. Because I think the whole point of this trailer as well was trying to show us the other heroes we haven't seen in the movies yet. So we got a glimpse of Aquaman, which I think really was the character they were really trying to sell in this trailer. They showed him doing a lot of badass things, like using his trident to stab some parademons. He's, separating some water. He's just looking totally badass. And remember, Aquaman is the one DC movie that actually is in production right now, besides Justice League. So I think the point of this was also to kind of highlight him a little bit, to maybe get people excited for the only card that Warner Brothers and DC have right now, which is the Aquaman movie. You saw Flash. Flash was cool. I like the way they did it. You could tell, going from we're used to Flash on TV, on a TV budget, now we're Flash with a movie budget. You could see the special effects and the lightning, and I thought that was really cool, just to see the little step up from that. Cyborg, honestly, I like Cyborg as a character in the comics as a Teen Titan. When the New 52 came over, they jumped him over to Justice League, and I've never been a fan of him in the Justice League. So with this, I'm not a fan of him in the movie. Plus, I don't like that he's all CGI. There were some shots where like Batman and Flash were fighting like parademons, and to me, it looked like they were fighting Cyborg because they're CGI just like he was. They didn't look that different from each other. To distinguish between those two, I was like, I'm not a big fan of that. But I thought it was cool. They showed the shot of him flying into space and all that stuff there. Another shot that I thought was really cool. There was a shot of like the Amazonians going against, I looked like parademons or Apocalypse's forces. It looked almost like a precursor, kind of like how they did at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, where they had the huge battle to kind of set up the story so far. I feel like that's what that is. They're going to talk about how the Darkseid's forces from Apocalypse came to Earth at once, and there was a huge battle with the Amazonians and possibly the Atlanteans, and that's how everyone got mother boxes and stuff like that. Another line from the trailer I thought was interesting, where Gal Gadot was talking about she never thought she'd see the Age of Heroes again. Now, when she said the word again, I'm like, she's either referencing, World War I, where the Wonder Woman movie is set to take place, or she's referencing, in the comic books, before the Justice League, there was the Justice Society, which was the original Green Lantern, the original Flash, Wildcat, those older guys as well. And that makes me think maybe they're going to try to set that up, or maybe we might even see some of that in the Wonder Woman movie. I don't know, but overall, I like the trailer. Almost forgot the best line. The best line was, of course, Flash is like, so what's your superpower again? And Bruce Wayne says, I'm rich. Because I thought it was kind of poking fun at it, because one thing myself and a lot of people who like to poke fun at Batman was like, he's not a superhero, he's just rich. Take away his money, he's nothing. So the way they poked that bear a little bit, I thought was cool. Good?
I might change my opinion on this after I've seen Wonder Woman. But, I've just been burned, I feel like, too much from the DC stuff. And so I'm not even cautiously optimistic anymore. I'm just kind of like, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. My heart gets excited, but my head's like, okay, calm down. Because it's said that they're also making some kind of changes over there. I mean, they're changing up the Batman movie. Their whole slate's changed from what they originally thought it was. And Justice League is kind of the end of like Plan A. They've adjusted. They had this Plan A of what they were going to do, and everything's kind of fumbled their way through it. So Justice League is kind of like the end of Plan A, and so you're not quite sure what you're going to get, given the fact that it's a product of something that pretty much has failed in most people's eyes. So we'll just wait and see how it goes. Alright, so that's going to be it for DC News, guys. Next hour, we're moving on to Star Wars. That's right, guys. We are 2 weeks away from Star Wars Celebration. The full schedule has come out on Star Wars Celebration website.
And our tickets and our super cool lanyards have
our super lanyards, everything's set. Lisa and I already went through the schedule, saw the panels we're going to go to. We got the whole 4 days planned out. We're all super set to go. Mm-hmm. It'll be awesome. Super, super excited.
Yep.
All right. So, speaking of stuff that's super, super exciting, this Saturday was the season finale of Rebels. That's season 3 finale. And we finally saw Thrawn kick a little ass. Something we've been waiting to see all season long. He takes on the Rebels and gives them a major crushing defeat. It was harsh, but I think it was well deserved given how much we've been teased Thrawn. So, Lisa, what do you think about the season finale of Rebels?
I liked it. I think it was kind of weird. I wasn't expecting the Bendu to play into it.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at all, although, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they had to bring something in that could, because there's no way that the Rebel force on that planet could possibly have defeated Thrawn and then.
No.
I thought it was cool, just the way that Thrawn figures things out. Like, I think it's neat showing, you got a little bit more kind of seeing how he thinks and how he knows them all so well.
Yeah, he was talking about, like, finally the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah,
and then,
you can tell he's been waiting a long time and planning a long time for this.
If it wasn't for the Bendu, he would have completely,
for sure.
He would have taken the ghost crew and everything.
For sure. And if it wasn't for that other guy who totally disobeyed his orders.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's part of the thing when you look at, I mean, I think that that's a good lesson in life in general, is no matter how much you plan, in some cases, you're not the only person involved. So
don't hire idiots.
Right.
That's right.
You know, you never can tell who's going to mess up something that you've thoroughly planned out. So, I mean, really, because that guy is the one who let Ezra get out.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for that guy, Ezra would have been killed everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it wasn't for the Bendu, they would have all been destroyed. So, I mean, I think it was really good. Oh, sorry, we forgot to say, like, spoilers.
Whatever. They know we do spoilers on this show now.
Anyway, but yeah, I think it was really... I loved what they did with Thrawn. I thought the whole thing with Callus was really cool.
Yeah.
How he kind of caught him, and then just how he made him watch everything, but how Callus was still at the end, like...
Yeah. Well, like you said, I love that, because Callus is like, Thrawn's like, I'm winning, ha ha ha. And Callus is like, I've been in your spot before. These rebels, they'll surprise you.
Yeah, and so I'm curious to see in the next season how the rebels surprise him. Because obviously we know the rebels win in the end.
No, not in this show. Because the Rogue One was their first big victory.
Right, but I mean, that the rebels survive.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The rebels survive. You don't know the ghost crew survives.
Right, I didn't say the ghost crew.
Okay.
I said the rebels survive. Obviously, because this is prior to Rogue One. This is prior to A New Hope. Mm-hmm. And the Empire gets taken down. So, obviously, Thrawn does not succeed.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I think the ghost crew is going to all survive, although we do know that some of them do, considering that in Rogue One, we know that Hera survives, we know that Chopper survives. They're the only two we know survive.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably likely they're the only two that do. I mean...
No, Ezra Snoke, remember?
Whatever. I think it's unlikely that Kanan and Ezra survive, although it's possible. It just seems like at this point in the Star Wars,
I feel like
if there were any other Jedi, I feel like it would have come out.
I think at this point, I think the two I'm pretty sure almost 100% guaranteed are going to go are going to be Zeb and Kanan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean people all Star Wars fans, I mean, number one on the hit list, everybody thinks Kanan's like number one of the ghosts to go. I can see, just because Ezra's the main character of the show, I can see him surviving a little bit. But then with Sabine and Zeb, Sabine is with the Mandalorians, so she could go off and do her Mandalorian thing. Zeb, in this, was it this season they did the episode with his people?
I think it was the
last season. He could go off and do that with his people. I mean, they could just go away from the rebellion, especially after losing Kanan, their leader. They'd be like, okay, let's break apart.
Well, except Hera's their leader. Kanan is not their leader.
No, well, okay.
Hera is the leader.
Okay. Now, I don't know, it's iffy.
Hera is the leader.
Okay, but no, Kanan is Spectre 1, Hera is Spectre 2.
But Hera is the leader.
Hera is the leader of the rebellion, not of the ghost crew.
It's her ship.
No, in season 1, Kanan was the leader.
I think it's
no,
Hera.
they've said in Kanan, it was in season 1, I think they said that Kanan is the leader.
Whatever.
Now after Kanan got blinded, yes, Hera kind of stepped up a little more.
Before then, Hera is the leader.
Anyway,
I think that Kanan... Here, I'm going to speculate. Are you ready?
Ooh.
I think that Kanan is going to die protecting Ezra. That he's going to sacrifice himself
I agree
to save
with that.
Ezra.
I'll agree with that.
In some way, shape. I don't know the situation, but I think in the end, that's what it's going to come down to.
Okay. So just a little bit more. Dave Filoni, of course, talked about the episode as well and kind of the season finale. And he mentioned the presence of the Black Death Troopers by Thrawn's side in this episode as well. And people kind of get excited about that because we saw them in Rogue One. So he said, quote, For us, it served several purposes. It was to show he was really making his move, and he brought in the top elite troopers to support him in this time. Also, it's a great connection to Rogue One. We knew the film would be out by this time. We wanted to start integrating the continuity of everything, which means there will be more of that stuff in Season 4. Now, before we get on to the stuff about Season 4 that they teased, I want to continue a little bit on this finale. Me, I liked it. I didn't like it as well as the Season 2 finale because that was just epic.
Yes.
Okay. But the battle itself, I love. The battle as far as Thrawn attacking, the defeat of the rebels could not have gone better. I really liked the way that went down. And I told you, I remember what I said last week, who was going to bite it.
Oh, yeah.
General Sokka. Yeah, exactly. So
I like the way he went out, though.
Of course.
I thought that was awesome. And it kind of harkens to what I just finished reading in Empire's End. Mm-hmm. A very similar thing happens in Empire's End in the battle there. The Battle of Jakku.
They run into each other's ships?
They did
that in Rogue One, too.
I know. No, but I mean, like, one of the rebel, basically...
Yeah, sacrifices
herself and her ship to destroy... Mm-hmm. She gets everyone else off first, same way he did, but sacrifices herself.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Couple things also with Kanan. I was a little disappointed once Thrawn had them surrounded there before the Bendu attacked. Kanan had his lightsaber out, and I'm like, Kanan, we've seen you deflect missiles in this season. Take them out, man. Mm-hmm. Like, he easily could have just been like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's get out of here. I felt like it should have happened.
I think that there's a lot of times that they do that in Rebels.
Well, they do that with Ezra, too, where they tow with his, they tease his dark side at the beginning of the season, and then, like, where'd that go? We haven't seen that in a long time.
Well, and not even just that. Like, just like where there'll be a scene where he's, like, totally kicking everyone's ass, and then the next scene he's, like, running away, and you're like, what the shit? It's like, you were just kicking everyone's ass.
It's like that droid episode, too, was it the droids or whatever? They trapped them in the cargo bay or whatever. And I'm like, Ezra, where's your lightsaber? Oh, of course you can't have your lightsaber because that would actually help the story here. Mm-hmm. Make it too easy. Things they do like that where the convenience of it gets me a little irritated sometimes. Mm-hmm. The Bendu, though, that was interesting because, he even in this episode, he's neutral. He doesn't want to step in. But he does step in, okay? And... he's angry with Kanan at the end of it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's not going to be a good thing for Kanan going forward, that a creature such as the Bendu now is, doesn't like you very much. I don't think that's a good thing. We'll see how it goes from there. But overall, I thought it was a decent season.
Yeah, I liked it.
I'm very much looking forward to Season 4. Of course, we're going to get a little preview at Celebration, which will be awesome.
Can't wait.
What was the last thing? Oh, I love the last shot of where Kanan was walking through the ship, and he kind of like talked to everyone a little bit till he finally got to Ezra at the end there, and he mentioned about how it's you have to in a rebellion you have to keep hope alive is what it is. Yeah, you're gonna have those defeats, but you can't quit fighting. Is what it's all about. And of course that all leads to Rogue One where they get their first big victory and stuff like that. But overall, decent finale. I liked it a lot.
Although again, I think that just goes to show us what Kanan was saying, because even though Rogue One was their first real victory, there was tremendous losses in that.
Yeah, there was.
I think it's something that's worth, talking about how even throughout all of this, with every win, it's still a huge loss. Mm-hmm. I mean, because they lose lots of people, and it just, goes to show something worth fighting for. They say that a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Cool. So on the after show, Rebels Recon that they do, I know you went to bed beforehand. I watched it, and they teased some stuff from Season 4. So,
You didn't think this was important to show me before we talked?
Huh? No, I was going to say it right now, actually. I mean, it's just stuff they talked about, really. Oh. The only thing, they did tease an image. The image they teased was a bunch of Mandalorian helmets and looked like kind of like a dusty battlefield or something like that even. I wasn't really impressed with it, to be honest. But stuff they were talking about as far as Season 4, Filoni and the staff were talking about Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma, how they're both going to be back in the next season. And Filoni was saying, quote, you'll get more of an insight into seeing how that relationship breaks down and breaks apart. And you might be possibly Yes, that's 3 possibilities in the quote. Possibly when you get to see an X-Wing. That's one thing I was missing from this battle. Because I saw the ships come out for the battle, and I'm like, what, no X-Wings? So I guess they're saving that for next season, perhaps. Said we get to see more of Mandalore in the next season, and also just a lot more of the characters. Now, Filoni went on to continue saying, quote, "The longer we've gone on with this series, the more it has occurred to me that Rebels really is, in a lot of ways, going to finish Clone Wars. It's going to give us an ending for so many things that I didn't get to finish. That was never intentional, that was never the goal. But it's kind of worked out that way. Some of these characters have come into it, and I think that's a good thing in a way, and they're kind of a partnered series. While exactly explicitly connected, there is a shared story path for many characters in it, which I think is a good thing." I love that quote because there have been so many characters that started out in the Clone Wars that have carried on through Rebels that I do feel like they are a partnered series. I mean, you had Saw Gerrera, General Syndulla, Rex, Hondo, Ahsoka, all these characters that were made for Clone Wars that have now gone over and made appearances, and some significant characters in Rebels as well.
Bring back Ahsoka.
Yes, I think that'll be, I've already said, that's going to be my question for Dave Filoni at Celebration.
We gotta bring her back. She's so awesome.
Do you think, I mean, I feel like, okay, Ahsoka is Filoni's character. So if anyone's going to do anything with her, it will be him, which makes you think it's going to be with Rebels. But I could see her showing up, not in a Rebels form, in another, like a book or something like that, too.
I think she needs to come back, because here's the thing. Her character is too awesome and has done too much to just go out and no one knows what happened.
I don't think the character's done at all. It's just a matter of where and when we're going to see her. I don't believe she's become such a fan favorite character. I mean, chances are, when we go to Celebration, it's time to ask questions to Dave Filoni. I don't think I'm going to get a chance because someone else is going to ask him before I will. I know that, but I think that's going to be the first question when it's time for the Q&A. That'll be the first question that Dave Filoni's going to get.
I hope so, because I want to know what's happening with Ahsoka, because I want to see more Ahsoka. But I don't just want to read more Ahsoka. I want to see more Ahsoka.
Yeah. I agree with that. I got you.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, but again, just season 4 coming up. I also like the idea of seeing the Saw Gerrera and Mon Mothma, how that breaks down, because this season, season 3, we're only 2 years away from Rogue One, and and Saw Gerrera looked like he was in pretty good shape. Sure, he was kind of being a little more radical compared to what the other Rebels seem to be doing, or what Mon Mothma would like him to be doing, but he's still in good health, which we don't see him in good health in Rogue One, and he's still with the main group of Rebels. So we only have a little bit of time to break down that relationship and to see what happens to him. Again, I thought that in this season, when that bomb goes onto the Ghost, I thought that was it. That was going to be the explosion that hurts him physically, and that was going to be the start of his descent to break away from Mon Mothma's Rebels, I guess you could call them. But I think we'll still might see it on Rebels, that event.
I wouldn't mind seeing Leia pop up again in Rebels.
I could see that.
Just to see what she's doing right now.
Like I said, we're edging closer to Rogue One,
Yeah.
edging closer to New Hope, so I think we're going to see more of those reoccurring characters pop up. We did see, that was Wedge in the battle, right? Like,
I think so.
Yeah, he was flying around in that season 3, yeah. So that's it, guys. So that's it for Star Wars. We're getting excited for Celebration. We only probably do one more show before Celebration.
Yeah.
So definitely, like I said, we want to try to do a little bit of recording while we're at Celebration too. We're not quite sure how we're going to figure it out.
We may end up just doing some Facebook Lives or something.
Maybe, yeah. I think we might do that. We'll do like some little brief videos and post them on the Facebook site.
Because we're not going to be able to take all this, obviously, but we'll be able to take my phone and my iPad and stuff. So we might be able to do some Facebook Lives.
We'll do something like that. Definitely want to get involved in that. But yeah, so that's Rebels Season 3, guys. Tell us what you thought as well. Let us know what you think on that. Stepping off of Star Wars, we're going to move into miscellaneous news and hopefully get to the end of the show here. Variety came out and has reported that Saban is looking to make a couple more Power Rangers movies, despite the one that came out. So, according to Haim Saban, I don't say it, Haim, Saban? I don't know. Anyway, founder of Saban Entertainment, came out and said that, quote, we already have a 6-movie story arc
Oh, God.
for the Power Rangers. Now, they came out and said this, like, a while ago. They said they had a 9-movie story arc going on. But in any event there, the movie came out this weekend and grossed $40 million domestically. It's at $60 million worldwide right now on a $100 million budget. People are a little hesitant about this story because it came in second on its opening weekend. Behind
Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and the Beast made $88 million.
On its second week.
On its second week, which is great. The other big movie, Life, which came out with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's getting good reviews,
It good reviews. It only did $12 million, though. It was finished like 4th or whatever. So...
that may be one that picks up when people talk about it, though.
I think given. I mean,
I don't want to see it.
It's about the competition. It's about the competition. You know, you still have Beauty and the Beast. Power Rangers is a franchise movie people go see. I think that movie suffered from, again, positioning is what it was when it came out and stuff like that. So Saban Entertainment, of course, is looking to continue more movies, but with a $40 million opening, some people are kind of questioning it. I think at this point we have to wait and see how it does in its second week to really judge if they're going to continue. Because like I said, it's a $100 million budget. Add marketing there, you're probably looking at least $150, $170 million they did total. So if they need to at least make that back and then some, I think, to really warrant a sequel. Mm-hmm. Now the movie itself is getting pretty good reviews. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to go later on to see it. I'm kind of more excited. I wasn't super excited about it based on the trailers, but word of mouth says it's, pretty entertaining. And also I got a little more excited this morning when we watched the Schmodown where they had the actors on it, and they look like, they're good young people having fun. They probably had a good time together. So that got me a little more excited to see them interacting and how they are with that too. I already know post-credit scene they're teasing the Green Ranger, which is the most famous of the Power Rangers, mainly because he's a little bit of a bad boy. He starts off evil, then goes good, blah, blah, blah on that. And the crew are actually talking. They talked to some of the actors and said that they, instead of being a guy, they would rather see the Green Ranger be a girl just to even out the numbers. 3 girls, 3 guys then as far as Power Rangers for the sequel. Whereas in the TV show, it was played by a guy, Jason and David Frank. But they think it should be played by a girl. In any events, Saban has a lot of movies still planned for this franchise. And I'd say that's fine because they're with Lionsgate. Lionsgate has had nothing since Hunger Games. They need a movie franchise. Every studio wants those franchises. And that's why people are so interested in sci-fi properties and comic book properties, because they're franchises. There's something they can make multiple movies of. There's something they can make toys of. They can merchandise, stuff like that. That's what they want in the franchise. So Lionsgate and Saban looking to make many, many more Power Ranger movies, it's totally understandable. Whether they'll get to or not, I would say they're at least going to make one more. I mean, even if this one doesn't do blockbuster numbers, I think they'll do one more. And if that one is a failure, then you might see them pull the plug on the other, 4 films.
Cool. I don't really have anything to add to this. You basically said everything, and I have zero interest in Power Rangers. I mean, the trailers didn't look too bad. I'll see it when it comes out on video, but I was not a Power Ranger fan as a kid.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to note that Ian went to see this, my brother-in-law, and he said after he left that his comment on his Facebook post was everyone in the theater was in their 30s.
Yeah, because that's the Power.
That's what I think. But I think that's going to be the problem with the Power Rangers is that they're not reaching new audiences. They're harnessing in the people who were fans when they were kids.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been that appeal to a younger audience or to an older audience. It doesn't have. It's not necessarily what I would call a family film. It's not. You know what I mean? I think for films to do really well, they have to have mass appeal. You have to have old people who want to see it. You have to hit all the demographics. Uh-huh. And I think this one is really only hitting the people who like the
Power Ranger fans. Now, what's coming off of that a little bit as well? Josh and Maggie, my coworkers, I watched Power Rangers. I consider myself, when I was younger, a Power Rangers fan. They're bigger fans than I am. They were super excited to see this movie. They still haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. So there goes to show you as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the same thing. My little brother and sister, they were huge Power Rangers. Sarah, especially, she was a huge Power Rangers fan when she was a kid. She wanted to be the Pink Ranger. Uh-huh. I'm almost 100% sure she has not seen it.
Yeah. So if you have these massive, massive Power Ranger fans, and they haven't even seen it yet, it's been out all weekend. I mean, what's that say about the film too? And the appeal of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't get really those hardcore fans to go out that first weekend, what are you gonna success you gonna have with people who are completely unaware of what the franchise is all about? In any event, we'll move on from there, guys. Netflix has released the first teaser trailer for the upcoming adaptation of Death Note. Now, it's based off the famous Japanese manga. Death Note follows a high school student who comes across a supernatural notebook, realizing it holds within it great power. If the owner inscribes someone's name into it while picturing their face, he or she will die. Intoxicated with his new godlike abilities, the young man begins to kill those he deems unworthy of life. The film is directed by Adam Wingard, who directed films such as You're Next and The Guest, and Death Note is set to premiere on Netflix on August 25th. Now, Death Note is something that I've been aware of for quite some time. I've heard a lot of people within the geek community rant and rave about Death Note, and they've been talking about either doing a TV series or a movie for a while now. I was unaware, though, that it was actually going to show up on Netflix. I thought it was going to try to be a major motion picture release. Turns out it's going to be on Netflix, which I think is fine, just fine. It's an interesting concept. I think it looks cool. I'll definitely check it out. I like the actor who's the main character, Nat Wolff. I've seen him in several things. Probably his most notable film was that movie Paper Towns that came out a couple years ago. But I've seen him in several other things that I thought he was really good in. So that kind of intrigues me. You got William Dafoe is doing a voice in the film as well. And then when I was looking at the IMDb page, I saw another actor that's going to be in it is Masi Oka. You most notably know him as Hero from the TV show Heroes. So he's going to be in it as well too. But overall, the trailer, it's only a minute long. I thought it was good at setting the tone. Kind of gives you just a little, again, a teaser of what the movie's going to be all about. It looks creepy. It looks like a kind of a good thriller. I'm going to check it out. Lisa, probably not so much because, again, it is a thriller.
Yeah, pass.
Pass. Okay, great. All right, so moving on from there, I got one more story, guys. We're going to... Dog's barking. Sorry. We got one more story, guys, which is... I'm going to skip over the Doctor Who story. We can talk about that later. There's a short little story we can do about that. But the last story of the day is going to be that 20th Century Fox is reportedly got their director for the Escape from New York movie coming out, and it's none other than Sin City director Robert Rodriguez. This is all according to Deadline. Now, it's said that Fox hopefully wants to kick off a potential Planet of the Apes-like franchise with this Escape from New York remake. No release date has been set for the film, but the original Escape from New York was made in 1981, directed by John Carpenter. It starred Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken and took place in a dystopian near future, which was 1997 Manhattan. Now, in it, Manhattan had been transformed into a giant maximum security prison. And the president's plane crashed in Manhattan. They sent Plissken in to rescue him. The film also got a sequel in 1996 called Escape from L.A., where Plissken had to recover a doomsday device for the government, and he had to go into, of course, L.A. to do so. Now, Fox has said that the original director, John Carpenter, is going to be involved in the project and is going to be given an executive producing credit and reportedly consulting with him on the movie's tone. So Robert Rodriguez has kind of been in Hollywood doghouse lately. Oh, hold on one sec, guys. All right, guys, sorry about that. Again, we got a lot of stuff going on around the house today, so just sorry for the interruptions. But anyway, Robert Rodriguez, like I said, he's been in the doghouse a bit with kind of some recent films that haven't really took off, such as Machete 2, Sin City 2. But he's also done a lot of good films, such as the original Sin City, Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn, the first Spy Kids movie. I've never seen any of the Spy Kids movies.
The first Spy Kids one was cute.
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I only saw it because I have little brothers and sisters. So it was one of the things I saw because of Sarah.
Of course.
But it was cute. I liked the first Spy Kids.
Okay. Now, Rodriguez is also set to have finished up a film with James Cameron, the Battle Angel film, which Cameron has been talked about for a while now. He got Robert Rodriguez to direct so that he could focus, of course, on his Avatar films that, are going to come out sometime in the next 20 years, probably, if we're lucky. And then also, Robert Rodriguez is also set to be rumored for a Johnny Quest movie, too. I like this. I like the idea of an Escape from New York remake just because I like the character. Kurt Russell as Snake Plissken. That's going to be the big part for me, is who they get as Snake Plissken, because Kurt Russell created this iconic character. I don't see, putting someone new in that role. I'm not sure how it's going to go. But Robert Rodriguez, this looks right up his wheelhouse. Like I said, Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn, those are films that have the same feel as an Escape from New York, or how I would want an Escape from New York remake to feel. So he's a talented director. I think he'd do a really good job. Again, it just depends who do they pair with him as Snake Plissken, what kind of tone it's going to be, when is it going to be set? I mean, it's going to be in like 2040. How's it all going to go down? Just so many details left to figure out, but I like Robert Rodriguez. I believe in him as a director. I've actually met him in real life. He's come to the store a couple times to get some outfits. So awesome guy, really nice guy. So I'm on board with this. Now, Lisa, have you even seen Escape from New York?
No.
No? Not at all?
Nope.
So no opinion?
Nor the LA one.
I've
seen bits and pieces of the New York one. I think it's got Kurt Russell, right?
Yes, Kurt Russell. He's got the eye patch.
I've seen bits and pieces, but it's not my cup of tea.
Okay, fair enough. I actually watched Escape from LA more than I have Escape from New York, just because when I was younger, Escape from LA was on HBO so much. I've actually seen that more than Escape from New York. But in any event, I love the character of Snake Plissken, so I'm really hoping that they do a good job on this one. So, and that's going to be it, guys. That is it for the show. Anything else you want to add before we go?
No.
Nope, she's answering to get out of here.
We got stuff to do.
We got stuff to do.
Swing set assembly.
I know. I was planning on going and seeing Power Rangers today, but I guess we have a swing set to put together now.
Yes, we do.
So that might delay my Power Rangers viewing a couple of hours. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think. Did you see the Rebels season finale? Let us know what you think about that.
If you haven't, you totally should.
If you totally should. And I just realized we skipped a story, too.
Oh, no.
There's a whole story about Bob Iger commenting on Han Solo that we'll just have to get to next week, I guess.
Well, really, we ought to just do our own whole Star Wars show.
Yeah, we do talk a lot about Star Wars, but
those are the stories I'm generally most interested in.
I know.
Anyway.
That's why I put them in there, because you're most engaged in those stories.
Because they're the ones I care most about.
All right. Did you guys see the Spider-Man and Justice League trailer? Let us know what you think about that, and of course, let us know who you think is going to play Cable, because it's an ongoing saga that we really should be taking bets on at this point.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, guys. So chime back on the Facebook.
How about if my bet is that there is no Cable in the movie, and that's what this is all just a giant ruse?
It's all a ruse?
All a ruse.
That would be hilarious. All right. Hit us up, guys, on the Facebook group or Twitter, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. You can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at SlimDayspring12. And until next time, may the Force be with us all.